Support for Sportspage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for Sportspage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Coming up next on the Central Missouri Sports Page, Mules football coach Jim Svoboda will join us to talk about last Saturday's home finale against 4th-ranked Pittsburg State and this week's MIAA contest in Jefferson City against the Lincoln Blue Tigers. Jennies Volleyball is 20-4, ranked 8th this week in Division II, and Coach Flip Piontek will be in studio to talk about his team. In our Sports Page Student-Athlete Spotlights, we'll get to know Mules preseason All-American kicker Aaron Jamison, and we'll catch up with Alyssa Rhodes, the first All-American in Jennies soccer history. So stay tuned. Your weekly 1-hour look at UCM Mules and Jennies sports comes your way next. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Shawn Jones, and joining me to kick off this week's show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back.
Hi, Shawn.
Tough loss last week to 4th-ranked Pittsburg State, a very, very good football team, but I know it's one of those things at this point in the season you've got to learn from it, grow from it, and move forward and get ready for Lincoln.
Yeah, we allowed us a little brooding time, but not too much, and it was an outstanding football team that we played last Saturday, and we were disappointed with a lot of things about the game. There were some bright spots, as we'll talk about, but overall, disappointed and not where we want to be. But we are where we are, and time to get into action mode.
When you brought the team back together for the first time earlier this week, what was your message to the squad?
Well, we talked to them on Sunday right away, and basically it was just that. It's here we are where we are. Get into action, get back in the saddle, make a plan. We have changed some structure things in practice this week to raise the intensity level a little bit. I think we found out that was a spot where we were not where we wanted to be Saturday, and so you don't sit around and expect different results doing the same thing, and that's what we did. We got into action.
Oftentimes the difference between a winning team and a team that really struggles is the attitude of the team. And I know from day one you have complimented your players, the way they act, the way they handle themselves, and in times like this that really pays off.
It does. They're receptive. They want to do well like the coaches do, so it's not a deal where we have to drill the idea of winning in their head. It's let's figure out how to get it done. Like I said, they're good kids, and they've worked hard all year long, and this is a dang tough league, and so you learn a lot about yourself after a game like that, and we're going to work.
Well, the wonderful problem is you've created a loftier expectation after last year. 11 wins, make it to the national quarterfinals, host a playoff game, all of those historic things that took place. So that's why I think maybe a little more disappointment creeps into these guys. They're still 5-3. They've still got a chance to play in the postseason, which is better than, 85–90% of the teams in Division II. But I know in some regard they're not satisfied because they now expect to be in that position we were in last year every year.
Well, that's a good thing, and I told them I won't apologize for aiming high, and that's why we do all this stuff. Is ultimately we want to win a national championship at Central, and but it starts with the MIAA, and we feel like if we can get through this league, and survive, then you got a chance to do a lot of those things. So. It's all a process. We do have some young players out there, and a lot of the guys that didn't experience the on-the-field success that we had last year, and so we're taking our lumps right now, and they're not happy about it, and that's the good part.
One of the things, though, you said from day one when Jerry Hughes and I met with you up in Kansas City is you want to build from within. You want these players to believe, these young guys, when they come in, if they put their work in the weight room, in the classroom, they'll earn their opportunity next. And by doing that, I know that's something you committed to. You're playing a lot of young kids this year, and I know that's something that you feel very strongly will pay dividends as you build this program over the course of the long haul.
Well, I'm not looking for advocates. It's just the only way that I know how to do it, and do it for the long haul. I'm just not built, the way to, have a lot of turnover within the program, and you can see what's coming up, and the young guys are excited about it. And one of the things I talked about is they're building the tradition, and it's incumbent upon them to, have in their mind what it's like to practice like a champion and go to about their day-to-day business like a champion.
Well, last Saturday was senior day, and I know the result wasn't what the guys wanted, but 15 seniors were honored. Very nice ceremony prior to the game, and very nice to honor those guys. They were almost all a part of last year and a part of you taking this program and putting your stamp on it, which obviously led to an historic 2010, and hopefully they're setting the foundation for a long future with this program. So great to honor those guys.
It certainly was, and their parents and the other people that family members that showed up, and those kids have put a lot in the program. Most of them, or a lot of them, fifth-year guys, and loyal to Central and loyal to the Mule football program, and we're sorry to see them go, but it was great to be able to honor them.
Weird, though, because we've still got a lot of football left to play. As we look at the highlights, senior day, October 22nd, we still got 3 football games left, and then hopefully the postseason.
Yeah, and summer-like weather too. So the whole deal, and you wouldn't like to end the season with 3 on the road, but that's how the scheduling worked out.
You win the toss, elect to receive. I like the call. They forced you on a 3-and-out. They get the ball here on their first drive, and you'll see Bryson Wilson take it 44 yards for the score. I know you wanted the momentum, though, in this football game. You wanted to establish the offense and set the tone early.
We did, and you only do that by being aggressive, and it didn't quite work out, as you mentioned, but you don't know unless you take that chance.
On your next drive, though, you get a 27-yard field goal. That was a big answer at that point. Couple of big plays, Dyer a 32-yard catch, Levance Taylor a 30-yard run to set it up.
Yeah, a couple of big plays on that drive, and we got points.
And that's an excellent play by Paul Hughes as he knocked that away from Dickey, but there you see Zach Dickey finish off the drive on a run to make it 14-3 with 12:57 to go in quarter number 2. So Pittsburgh State, the thing with them, when you let them get rolling, you let them hang on to that football, they're just a hard team to get off the field.
They are, and I was impressed with how their quarterback operated their offense. He did a great job on Saturday.
So there you see Pittsburgh State with a 27-yard pass from Dickey to Love to make it 24-3. There's a nifty punt by Matt Jordan. He's got those rugby-style kicks down. Those are hard to return.
Yeah, Matt's had a great year. Unfortunately, he had a few too many opportunities last Saturday. Most of the games he hasn't this year, but he certainly has done a great job.
So Pitt State's up here 24-3, and you guys force a fumble. Good job by Marlon Douglas, recovered by Evan Knight. You've got a chance. Unfortunately, can't punch one in there before the break.
Yeah, and those are the things that you have to do in a game like that. You got to take advantage of the opportunities, and that was one we missed on.
Pitt had taken advantage of a turnover themselves and scored, and the Mules unfortunately weren't able to. But we're seeing a good thing here. You come out, you get a stop on defense as they get the ball first, and then you start back at the 9-yard line, but your guys showed a lot of resolve and toughness and some nifty footwork here by Tommy Corwin, and you marched this thing all the way down the field.
Yeah, we've had some really bright spots with this team, and this is one of them. And they're a resilient bunch, and we haven't done everything perfect all the time, but they're tough.
This was a must-score drive, and as we're going to see, it culminates in this 7-yard run by Cameron Tornade, and that's a 91-yard drive. You had to score, you got it done.
Against the best defense in the league, so that tells you that there's some positive things going on.
So at this point, the Mules have some momentum back. It's 24-10. It's 2 scores. You're thinking, okay, we get another stop, which this is 3rd down and 9. We're going to see coming up here in a moment after a nice sack there by Brett Ginn. 3rd down and 9, and you look like you got the stop and the tackle, but 2 guys hit each other. John Thomas bounces off, shows some great athleticism, and he takes it 70 yards for the score. That's a huge turn of events in the ball game.
That's a huge play, is right, and it was an unfortunate deal. We had 2 guys right in the neighborhood there, and 3rd downs, you just got to get them off the field, and that's the difference.
There you see Zach Dickey, the Pittsburgh product. The Gorillas have had a long tradition of Pittsburgh kids running the quarterback position for him, and he's another good dandy
and it's 38-10 at that point. Mules obviously aren't going to go quietly. They're going to continue to fight, but unfortunately there, Corwin trying to kind of find a little seam, and Pete, the safety, the 6'3 safety for Pittsburgh State's able to come in there and get the interception. So Pittsburgh State gets the football back, and there you see David Bax, who had some nice plays on the day. He was very active on the defensive line, and the Mules will punch one in here late. The true freshman, Levance Taylor, that's speed coming into your living room right there.
That's some young speed there. He's going to be around for a few years.
And again, the great thing about a lot of these guys, including the aforementioned Levance Taylor on that last touchdown, just a freshman. A lot of freshmen and sophomores getting their opportunities this season to learn and grow in the toughest league in the country. There you see the final numbers. Mules fall to 4th-ranked Pitt State 38-17. Patrick Lewis, 16 tackles to lead the Mules. With the loss, the Mules fall to 5-3 overall. They're 4-3 in the MIAA. Mules are ranked 23rd this week in the D2Football.com Division II Top 25. Again, it's October 22nd. It's the final home game of the regular season. So we ended up averaging 9,558 fans for the 5 games. To put it in perspective, last year we were a little under 9,000 and finished 10th in the country. So this will be a top 10 attendance year for Mules football, and I know that sets a solid foundation for your program. You know the fan base, the interest is there.
Well, it's a big sales pitch for us, and you know, kids want to go play where football is important, and you know, certainly our community has made it important, and we're going to continue to put a great product on the field. I know we had some disappointments at home. I doubt if it'll keep our crowd away, and again, proud that we're leading the league in attendance again.
And don't look at it like you have maybe in past years, folks, where you say, okay, Pittsburgh's not coming in next year because they came in this year. For example, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Northwest comes back here next year because we've had so much change in the schedule. The unfortunate thing, Coach Boda, beginning next year is we won't play everybody in the league. You know, we're not playing Washburn next year, for example. They're a loaded team this year. We're going to play them the last week of the regular season at home, Senior Layton Ball Club. We will not get a chance to play them next year. There's just a lot of flux in college football in general, and that includes the MIAA.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I can keep up with it. You know, Haas was talking about our schedule last night, and he was telling me things I didn't really know. So, you know, we're just trying to get through our next ball game right now, and it is kind of wacky. Not everybody was totally in favor of the expansion, but nevertheless, it's happened, and we're going to deal with it and make the most of it. But it is going to be a lot different.
Well, let's talk about the MIAA while we've got a chance. Just like the last few weeks, there's a clear line of demarcation between the top and the bottom of the conference. You've got that top 5 and the bottom 5, and really looks like Pittsburgh State's in the driver's seat in terms of the opportunity to win their first MIAA title since 2004. They've got Washburn at home next week, close out with Southern at home the week after that. Northwest plays next week against Missouri Western, their longtime rival. Of course, Central Missouri Lincoln this week at Lindenwood, a future MIAA foe. Next week, close it out on the road at Washburn. So you look at those top 5, and I guess the good news of the strength of this league, Coach Boda, is this. All 5 of those teams have a chance to play in the postseason, either the playoffs or a bowl game.
Right, and a lot of them play each other, so a lot of crazy things could happen here in the next 3 weeks. So we're just going to try to do our part. You know, we have a lot of work to do, and our players are excited about you know, opportunity to play another game, and you know, we still have a good record, and so we want to try to keep that intact and take our game to another level.
Lincoln Blue Tigers, the opponent this Saturday, Dwight T. Reed Stadium in Jefferson City. First MIAA matchup between Central Missouri and Lincoln since 1989. You mentioned the energy's been good this week in practice, the effort in practice. What are the biggest teaching points this week as you prepare for the next game?
Well, we really tried to focus on ourselves, and you know, kids are receptive. Like I said, we got they're working hard. You know, they want it as bad as the coaches or anybody else or the fans, and so, you know, we decided that we would you know, shorten practice but make it more intense and have some live parts of practice, and just try to bring up the energy level and try to make it more game-like, at least for part of the practice.
Lincoln's a team record-wise that struggled. They're 1-7. They've given up a lot of points, but when you look inside the numbers and you look at some of these games, they played a very competitive game against Emporia State last week, down to the 4th quarter, down to late in the 4th quarter against Fort Hays at home a couple weeks ago. So like most college football teams, they play better at home. You know they'll be excited about the opportunity to play Central Missouri. Mike Jones, the head coach down there, Mike the Tackle Jones, former Missouri Tiger, former St. Louis Ram. He actually coached some of your guys at Hazelwood East to a state title back in 2008, so some familiarity between the staff there and our players. So you're going to get their best effort, no doubt, and I know you want to make sure the Mules bring their best effort to Jefferson City. That's what it's all about. It's it's love of the game, and you can tell watching them on film that they play with a high energy level, and their coach is doing a great job with them, and they hustle around, and they're trying to build it like the rest of us. They're trying to do it the right way. They've got a defensive back, O'Hara Fluellen, who has 5 interceptions, like 11 passes defended this year, leads the league in that category. And obviously we like to throw the football, so he's a guy you got to be very mindful where he's out on the field. You really do, and they do some different things in the back end, and they've had a kind of a different game plan for each opponent, and you can tell that they do a lot of studying with their scheme, and so it'll be a challenge from that standpoint. Earlier in the show you mentioned the red shirts. Before we let you go, those guys, I know you felt really good about that class that you signed that will, for most of them, see their first action in 2012. How have they been throughout the season? We talk every week about all the guys who are playing. What are you seeing from these young guys, the future of Mules football? Well, I see a lot of energy, and right now we're really focusing on their development in the weight room during the season. They actually have a different weight program, and so seeing a lot of good results from that standpoint. And they're going to be a hungry bunch. They were recruited with the idea that they were going to come and compete for championships at Central, and they have that in their mind, and so far they've been working hard towards that. Well, Coach Svoboda, as always, thanks for the visit. We'll talk to you again next week. Thank you. Coming up next on Sportspage, we'll get to know Mules Junior preseason All-American kicker Aaron Jamison. That's next, right here on KMOS TV.
Imagine America's largest stage, dark. Or the nation's biggest schoolhouse, empty. Or the greatest library of documentary programming, closed forever. It could happen if funding for PBS is eliminated. Find out more about the threat to PBS at 170millionamericans.org. Because America needs PBS, and PBS needs you.
I choose to finish what I start.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose red to make my family proud.
I choose red because I can take classes that work around my schedule.
I choose red to advance my career.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree, advance your career, and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Load up your golf clubs, grab your spikes, and head out to the first tee. As our way of saying thank you for your financial contribution at the $50 level or higher, KMOS will send you a member card. In addition to great discounts at restaurants, attractions, and bed and breakfast all across Missouri, the member card also offers 2-for-1 greens fees at several Missouri golf courses. Improve your swing while taking in beautiful lake vistas. Or experience the Rumble at America's only golf course above an active mine. Take your game to the next level by playing around on us. Call 1-800-753-3436 and support KMOS TV, Missouri PBS. Thank you.
And welcome back to Sportspage here on KMOS TV, the University of Central Missouri's PBS station. In this segment, we shine the student-athlete spotlight on UCM's all-time leader in PATs, Aaron Jamison.
Well, I've been playing football since probably my sophomore year in high school. I've been here since my freshman year. My recruiting process was kind of complicated. I was supposed to come to Missouri Southern first, and then a lot of different things happened, and I actually ended up coming on a visit here 2 or 3 days before signing day, and then stuff just kind of fell into place. The relationship's really good. It was kind of interesting with the coaching change from Fritz to Svoboda, but everything's been really, really good. My position coach right now, Coach Josh Christian Young, is really, really good at what he does. And I don't know, everybody just seems really excited about their job, so which rubs off on the players. It's kind of interesting to be in a position to where you don't do quite as much as the other positions, but I don't know, it's cool to be in like an encouragement and like supporting role to all the other guys, and they respect my position as much as I respect theirs. As a kicker, it's kind of different. You have a different schedule. I wouldn't say that we don't practice as much. It's just like we start earlier, and while the other people are practicing, it looks like we aren't doing anything, but we do most of our practice before practice, so we aren't in everybody's way. It's kind of tough to kick in the middle of offensive and defensive drills. We try to stay out of the way so that they can do what they need to do. Quite a bit of preparation goes into it as a kicker. I mean, a lot of it's physical, like making sure that your technique's right, but also there's a lot of mental aspects, getting ready for the game, and just, I don't know, mentally prepping and making sure that you're going over what you need to do in your mind and stuff. I would probably say, I don't know, I try to keep very, very loose when I'm preparing for a game. I try to be very, I don't want to say laid back because that sounds like you're lazy, but I'd say that I'm very, I don't know, I make sure that I have a good mindset, because going into a game stress will never do you any good. I don't know, I try to go off by myself before each game and kind of listen to some mellow music, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because there's a lot of guys trying to get jacked and like listening to some pump up music. But I don't know, I listen to a lot of Christian music to kind of calm me down, because there's a lot of things that can get in your mind as a kicker that can totally throw you off of your rhythm. And I think a lot of that, I know, listening to Christian music puts me at peace a lot, just because, I don't know, that's kind of how I get my power. It doesn't make a whole lot, you know, to say that God totally controls a position is kind of an abstract thought, but I know for a fact that God really does like put a calm on my thoughts and my mind, and it really does help me. So that's what I do before each game. Probably the most important thing in my life is my relationship with Jesus Christ, and it's something that's very much influenced the way I compete, or I try to. I'd like to say that it influences the way I compete. And I try to go out every game and make sure that Jesus Christ and God is known through the way that I play and the way that I act. I think we have a really good shot to make the playoffs. Obviously, we have to win out. It's kind of tough to make the playoffs as 8-3, but I think we're in a pretty good position. We just got to win a couple big games, or I mean, obviously we got to win out. But I don't know. I think that if we can figure out, figure out what we need to do on defense and offense, and I guess on special teams as well, we'll probably continue to do well. Probably my favorite part about playing for UCM is just the fact that there's a ton of fan support. And my freshman year is a little bit different, but now that Ambrose is here, he's really kind of changed a lot of university support, and it's really influenced the fans, and it's really been a big influence. And we can see it by, we've already broken a record for attendance this year. So it's just really, really cool being able to play in front of a fan base that really supports the team. I'm a communications major, Bachelor of Arts. I think I would really, really enjoy leading music in churches and stuff, but I've also kind of been interested in the sports information process at universities. So, Mules football is, I don't know, the phrase "we play hard" is very true, because sometimes we'll make mistakes and stuff, as every team does, but we play hard doing it. So.
The Cassville, Missouri product is 34 for 34 in PATs this season, and he hit a school record 53-yard field goal in Week 2 at Missouri Western. The preseason All-American is also a top performer in the classroom, where he boasts a 3.27 GPA in communication. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look at UCM's fall sports results from this past week, and we'll talk Jennies Volleyball with head coach Flip Piontek. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues in just a moment.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through, to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
We're getting them ready.
I'm ready to read.
Ready to try.
I'm ready. Estoy listo.
Ready for life.
I'm ready to speak.
It's what we do every day.
I'm ready to dream.
With the books we provide, the workshops we sponsor. At KMOS TV 6, we're committed to making sure every child in Central Missouri is
ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn.
Imagine America's largest stage, dark. Or the nation's biggest schoolhouse, empty. Or the greatest library of documentary programming, closed forever. It could happen if funding for PBS is eliminated. Find out more about the threat to PBS at 170millionamericans.org. Because America needs PBS, and PBS needs you.
Thanks for watching Sportspage here on KMOS TV, Missouri PBS. Coming up next, we'll visit with the head coach of the 8th-ranked Jennies volleyball squad, Flip Piontek. But first, let's look back at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And we start with the Jennies soccer team. The Gens, ranked 10th in the country, cruised to a pair of MIAA home wins since our last show. Last Thursday, the Gens outshot Northwest 17-2 as they defeated the Bearcats 2-0. On Saturday night, the Gens hosted senior night and defeated Missouri Southern 6-1 in the final regular season home match of 2011. Brooke Cooley got her 15th win in goal as the Gens won their 31st straight MIAA contest. The Gens are now 15-1 overall. They're a perfect 7-0 in the league. They're ranked 10th in the nation, but 3rd in the South Central region. The Mules cross-country team made it back-to-back MIAA titles with their victory at the MIAA Championships last Saturday in Joplin. The Mules finished 20 points ahead of runner-up Northwest Missouri for the 14th title in school history. Congratulations to head coach Kirk Peterson and team. Lobbin Cialo made it back-to-back MIAA individual crowns, and Dalton Moberly finished in 3rd. The Jennies placed 7th at the conference meet, and Casey Hessian paced the Gens with a 15th place finish. The Jennies volleyball team is down to their final 7 matches of the regular season, and they've got an awful lot to play for. Joining us now to talk over the season to date is head coach Flip Piontek. Flip, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Shawn.
Well, you're 20-4, 11-1 in the league. It's been a few weeks since we visited with you. How are things going with Jennies volleyball?
You know, I'm pretty happy with where we are. If you kind of exclude one match that we ran into a little trouble last Friday, the repercussions from that Friday match carried over to Saturday morning. But, you know, the team, normally I don't like to have intermissions in matches. I like to continue to play because in general volleyball players want to just go play. They don't want to go back into the locker room. And the intermission is 8 minutes. It's not long enough to do any major changes, and it's a difficult situation for me to decide what to do. When you're losing 0-2 on the road at Fort Hays, the intermission was wonderful, and how they reacted in that intermission and how they came back out and how we played since then. You don't want to say the loss helped you, but the loss put a lot of different things in perspective for us. And so had a good week of practice, had a good trip to Southwest Baptist on Tuesday. So I don't know, we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
And we're going to take a look at those results in just a moment. Prior to the loss at Washburn, 13 straight 3-0 shutout victories for Jennies volleyball. The 2011 Jennies broke the record of the 1982 Jennies for the most consecutive shutouts. And in this program that you've been a part of now for a long time, anytime you can break a team record, it's impressive.
It's funny because the players, there's only one person on our staff that was born before 1982. So that kind of puts things in perspective for you in terms of how significant it is. And you know, the players, when you're going in the middle of it, you really can't dwell on it, and you can't. That can't be the thing that's driving you in terms of the competition that you're facing that night. You can't say we want to win because we want to keep the record going. You know, for us, it's a situation where we want the players to take the opportunity and perform to their best of their abilities, and if that leads to another win, that's okay. So it never really was a driving factor, but in retrospective now, it's pretty nice. It was pretty nice succession of events that took place. So
when you look at the record, 20-4, the number 8 national ranking, obviously there's some numbers inside that lead to the success. Your attack percentage is .311. Your opponents are hitting .163. That's a nice balance in the stats.
You know, the record is nice. Okay, the losses are good losses, but for us, you know, the regional rankings came out yesterday, and then the regional rankings with us losing at Washburn puts them first and us second. There are still 7 matches left. Washburn still has 7 matches left. One of them is here. So there's still a lot of room for movement, but that regional ranking is the thing that's kind of driving us right now in terms of our ultimate goal for this season.
Well, let's go back now and talk about a very busy week for Jennies volleyball. 3 matches on the road in 5 days. It started in Topeka, 5th-ranked Washburn, number 1 Central Missouri. You know, last year it was nip and tuck with Washburn. You beat them in the regional final. Seemed like they might have carried some momentum, some revenge over from 2010 to 2011. They were ready for you guys to come to their house.
You know, they were, and I thought we were ready too. And perhaps we started off very strong. We were up the entire first game. We got to 21st. Matter of fact, it was 2015 when we were serving. We side out 2016. And then for the remainder of that match, we struggled. It's hard to put a finger on it because statistically we did okay. We matched them almost kill for kill. We made more errors at crucial times than they made. But from that 20-16 lead, we struggled and won the first game, but we really didn't play that well down the stretch in that first game. And we didn't play poorly, but we just didn't play as well as Washburn did games 2, 3, and 4. And we were always just a point or two behind. And so the volleyball was good, but they were better than us. And that really inspires you, at least as a coach. The after effect of that loss, getting up early the next morning, getting on the bus, driving 3 more hours to Hays, Kansas, it was still evident Saturday morning. But I don't have a young team, and so the older players and the seniors, you know, they kind of had a chance in the locker room before I got there. So when I got in, they let me know that I didn't need to do too much, that they'd taken care of most of that. So everything worked out okay in terms of that response to being down 0-2. You can't look back on what's happened in the past, and it's the next thing that's going to happen that's going to be the important part for us.
As Flip mentioned, the next day on to Hays, and you set it up very well. You were down 2-0. It was the old adage, you were about to let a game beat you twice. But the positive of that is it's hard to come back on the road in a league match when you've lost the night before, down 2-0. That showed some real grit, some real toughness to come back.
Oh yeah, and like I said, those 4 seniors took a lot of responsibility for that. And the coach probably, as a coach, I should know better. You know, after the match on Friday night, it was a very emotional match, and the loss was difficult. The team meal after the match, we didn't get back to the hotel till 10 o'clock, and most of them brought parts of their meal with them back to the hotel. And I was asking them to get up early Saturday morning to have a team meal, to have a pregame briefing for Fort Hays. And I could tell in the briefing that it was the wrong time to get them up. And so, you know, those are some things that you'll learn that, you know, I love having the early afternoon match so we can get back and so I don't have the kids out till 2 in the morning. But in retrospect, that decision probably was the wrong thing at that time. These are teenagers. They don't get up early in the morning, particularly Saturday morning after we played a late match. That was not a wise thing. And so by the time we got our feet under us and the seniors decided that they were going to win the match, then I think we did okay. So.
And then it was on to Bolivar on Tuesday, 3-0 win there. You see Paula Harris, Taylor Crecci win MIAA Player of the Week for their efforts throughout the week. We'll talk about that in a moment. Take us through the match in Bolivar.
The match in Bolivar, I thought, was a really good chance for us to start off strong, not to let the team, like at Fort Hays, dictate how we were going to play. You know, for us, we have the potential to dictate the tempo of the match in most teams that we play against. Even at Washburn in Game 1, we were the team that was dictating the pace of the game. So at Southwest Baptist, their goal is to disrupt that, to get you to play at their level. And I thought our team did a terrific job until it was 17-10 in game 3. And then the team that said, oh, by the way, they're just going to go away and quit, and we are up 2-0, 17-10, we don't have to play anymore. Well, they outscored us 12-8 in the last part of the game, and then that takes away a little bit of the luster. But it also shows them that any team in this league at home, they don't want to lose at home. The competition, a lot of teams right now, Southwest Baptist being one of them, Missouri Southern on Friday when they come into town, there's not a lot for them to play for, and they're playing for the chance to beat us one time, and they're trying to set up their off season and their conditioning. So for them, our players, it's a really good lesson for them to understand how critical every time the ball's on our side that we do something good with it. So
as we continue to chat with Flip Piontek talking Jennies volleyball, let's talk about some of the players individually. Allie Huffman is playing at an All-American level for the 4th year in her 4-year career, averaging 4 kills a set, 2.78 digs per set. Talk about that balance.
Really what I'm most impressed with Allie recently, her effort in the match at Washburn on Friday night was very, very, she had a very, very sincere, heartfelt effort. And when we got off the bus on Saturday, she was one of the players that was a little tired. Early on in the match against Fort Hays, she got injured. You know, every time out, every time there was a break in the game, she's with the trainer trying to stretch her, trying to get this little. So, you know, out of our normal rotation, I'm subbing for Allie in the back row. She loses swings, she loses her leadership role on the court. About the middle of the 4th game, she goes, hey, I'm tired of subbing out. I'm ready to continue play. And you go, oh, that's what you want. You know, she knows it's her senior year, and she's hurt, but she's not going to come out. And so her response, like at SBU, I'm looking at her real close and saying to her, and she won't look at me because she knows that she's not going to give me the chance to take her out. So her leadership, her influence on the other players by doing what she's doing, playing with an injury, playing through that, but not allowing that to affect her play. That's as valuable to me as her kills.
We're looking at some practice time. It's going to be nice. Jennies will be back at home now for 2 straight, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Paula Harris, 23 kills, 8 blocks in the win at Fort Hays. That was a great performance in the comeback. Great bounce-back performance for her, I know, too. She's the MIAA Hitter of the Week. Taylor Cretchy had 20 or more digs in all 3 matches last week, including 37 against Fort Hays. So there's 2 more seniors producing for you.
Don't get me wrong, 23 kills. But if we don't play 5 games, if we don't lose the first 2 games, they don't get 37 digs and 20.
That's exactly what Paula told me yesterday.
It says if we don't have to play that long. So, and essentially what that playing 5-game match does, it gives them stats that make their stats look better than the Washburn players. So it's, as a coach, I'm thrilled for the players, but as a conference coach, you're wondering why our team got the Players of the Week. Statistically, I know why. I know who the Players of the Week are this week, and they're in a team in Topeka down the road a little bit.
The good news is you're 1 game out of first in the league, and you're going to get a chance at that team from Topeka again. Now, here's the big thing, though. That's November 11th. And I know that they're thinking about it, too. You guys have become great rivals. The matches are outstanding. But you both have an awful lot of important matches in between there, 6 of them. And neither one of you can afford to lose either one of them if you want that thing for all or a share of the MIAA title. You got a lot more volleyball you got to worry about.
It sounds like you've been in our huddle for the last before practice yesterday, in the middle of practice yesterday, at the end of practice yesterday. For us, even looking at like Truman next Wednesday, for us right now it's Missouri Southern and what we can do to get better, so that when we play Truman next Wednesday we can be better, so that if everything works out and all the stars align, that we can play Washburn on senior night, which the girls had the choice of Friday night or Saturday for that, to choose for senior night. They picked Friday night, which makes sense. There'll be more people here on Friday night, so that'll be senior night. So that'll be a really terrific potential.
Well, there you see the upcoming match Friday night against Missouri Southern, 7 o'clock. first of all, I hope a lot of people will come out. It seems like forever since you've been at home. Anxious for you guys to be back.
We were home last Tuesday.
Yeah, but 3 in a row on the road. And,
hey, well, guess
finally.
what? If you've seen the I heard you talking to Jim about the conference schedule for football. It's not any better for volleyball next year. We end up on the road 6 of our last 7 matches on the road next year, and we're going to places like Kearney in central Oklahoma, and that'll be a very different situation for us to deal with. So the normal routine of having closer teams in home and away that will change next year. So we're going to enjoy. You got 5 out of these last 7 at home. We're going to enjoy it.
And there's a special promotion. Bring some items that those folks less fortunate can use in their homes on Friday night to the match. The Mules wrestling program is going to be collecting those. So clothing, household type items, you bring those things, you can get in free to the match Friday against Missouri Southern and help out folks who don't have the income to buy those things. So a really great program between Mules Wrestling and Jennies Volleyball to bring you out to the match on Friday night. Next Wednesday, Truman comes in here. The original rivalry in the MIAA, Central Missouri and Truman.
It is.
So that's always fun when you guys get together and play. Truman's one of those teams. They're not maybe at the very, very top nationally like they have been, but a very capable team.
Very capable team, and they've had a very good run since we played them at their place. So they'll be a very good competition. That's the Choose Red night, isn't it?
And that's also a team, they're trying to get in the NCAA tournament. You know, right now, let's be honest, I mean, you're thinking, are we the 1 seed or the 2 seed? The Jennies are worried about hosting, or at least, you know, that's maybe not what you hope, but that's a fact. And meanwhile, Truman's trying to get in. That's going to be a hungry team coming in here.
It'll be really, like I said, all the other teams down the road here. It's a difficult process of not trying to look past the one you're playing next to get to where you want to go. So we're taking one at a time, best we can.
And that's where the senior leadership really helps you, having those seniors out there.
They've been there before. This philosophy of looking at it, because there's lots of different ways to approach a season in terms of the end goal being the most important thing and how you get there. But for us, if we take it one step at a time, the end goal will take care of itself. And the seniors are very comfortable with that process. You know, for us, we haven't even looked at film on Missouri Southern yet because their team is, who they put on the court every night changes. So it does no good for me to show them what happened on Saturday because the team they put on the court last night, I can look at the stats and it's different than the one they had on the court. So I need to show them the most current one. So we'll look at film today for tomorrow's match rather than too much in advance because it wouldn't do us any good. So for us, focusing on the next task is what we'll try to keep going.
Well, it's been a great season to this point. Keep it up. We'll talk to you again soon.
We'll hope so. Thank you.
In just a moment on Sportspage, we'll transition from the volleyball court to the soccer pitch as we visit with the first All-American in Jennies soccer history, Alyssa Rhodes. And oh, by the way, she also plays some basketball here at UCM. That's coming up next right here on KMOS TV.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Create. It inspires me. I love cooking with Ming.
Oh, no. Jacques Pepin is the man.
I knew how to fix a furnace, but now I know the hot spots of Rio.
I've turned shacks into castles, and now I can fill them with antiques.
And I caught you watching that quilting show.
And I'm getting pretty good.
Hi, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
And I'm Tom Silva.
And
we love to watch Create. It inspires us.
To create with you.
KMOS TV is my source for entertainment. I thoroughly enjoy all of the musical entertainment that KMOS provides for Central Missouri.
I think that Frontline is the single best television series on television today, and when I watch Frontline, I feel proud that I am not only an American, but that I've been involved all of my professional life with PBS. Hi, my name is Ken Burns, and PBS is my source for Frontline, the best show on television.
Stay tuned to KMOS Channel 6.1. Sedalia, Warrensburg.
I have been playing soccer since I was 3 years old. I used to play at like the community center that was like near my house, and it was always the bunch ball, you know, where like the ball, as the ball moved, the whole, like all the kids I guess were there, but I would like hang out and just wait for the ball to like somehow pop out, and so that was like my only memory from playing back in the days. I was first recruited by the coach before Lewis Theobald, and he kind of, you know, brought me in. I came and I ate lunch with the girls whom none of them I like played with. And, you know, he just kind of showed me around the campus. He was like, yeah, we're kind of looking at you, but I heard nothing back. So I was like, okay, maybe they're not interested. But then right after Lewis got the job, he like emailed me and was like, hey, you should come up for a visit. And I was like, well, I've already been there, but I was like, I'll come up again just to see how it is. And I ended up loving it, loving Lewis, heard so many good things about him. And so I'm so glad that I'm here now. My favorite part is maybe the team chemistry. I've never played on a team where we just gel so well, and like coming into the season like so early in August, it's kind of hard to like, you know, get the feel for all the new players coming in as well as all the returners and how the team, you know, kind of goes together. And so it was really nice just how this team works like with that, because we get together, you know, try and do as many fun activities as we can before the season starts and really try and just gel, so I love it. I think I have a pretty special one. He kind of, like I look up to him big time, and I think he kind of looks to me as well, and I think I'm, I don't know how to say it, like I'm like the connection between the team and him, like, because if there's any problems and I need to let him know, I know that he trusts me, like, to go and let him know if there's anything wrong with any of the players. But I think he's a great coach. I've said nothing but like great things about him, and I'm glad that I'm here. So. I'm not the typical soccer player. Typical soccer players, you know, like little, agile, quick. I'm more of the bigger, I'll header the ball if it's in the air. So I think I'm very different from most. I feel like I'm calm and I try to stay, you know, collective, and when I get the ball, I know where I'm going to go before I get it, and it's very different from most soccer players. Like the typical is just like the little fast one, and I'm not that at all. We, like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we practice for, well, Monday and Tuesday especially, we practice for like an hour and a half, pretty hard, and we do fitness at least one of those days. And then Wednesday is a little try and get your like legs under you day, and then Thursday's game, Friday get our legs under us again from the game and for the next one, and then Saturday play hard. So off the field, try and get as much rest as you can, try and go to sleep as early as you can, as like well as doing like homework and schoolwork, and trying to hang out with, I live with 5 other soccer players, and so we all hang out all the time, and that's, I mean, just, it's pretty routine. So if all my hopes and dreams are here, I would love to win a national championship. That's my ultimate goal. And so I hope we just keep, you know, plugging away and trying to really, really work to be there, because I know that if all of us really put like our minds to it, I know we can do that. So it's national championship would be where I want it to be. So I'm not really doing much with basketball right now, which is pretty nice, because the basketball coaches are very, like, they understand that I need to be doing this right now. But the second that soccer's over, like last year I had 1 day in between, like we flew back from Texas, I had 1 day, but I had to go to the practice and watch it, and then the very next day I started. So it's kind of rough with like the whole transition, just because the sports are totally different and there's totally different shapes. So actually when I get to basketball, sometimes I'm like out of shape sort of, but technically I'm like in soccer shape. So it's kind of just like frustrating for me just because of how like competitive and how I want to jump into basketball right away and just be like so great, but I have to wait my turn. I have to sit the bench. I have to learn the plays, and so it's kind of just mentally it's kind of tough, but I mean I did it last year, so I know that it will be fine this year, and so I'm excited to get something else going. I thought it would be worse than it actually is, especially because I only take about 12 hours a semester because since I started basketball, I would have been done in 4 years, but since I did basketball, I have to like basically elongate my schedule. So I've been just doing like 12 hours, and so it's actually not too bad. I mean, I have some homework, but I'm never like mentally stressed to the max by any means. So I think I'm pretty good with managing my time.
The Olathe South product has earned first-team All-MIAA honors 3 times in her Jennies soccer career, including Player of the Year honors in 2010, becoming the first All-American in Jennies history. She has also become a key member of the Jennies basketball team, averaging 17 minutes a game last year and serving as a solid all-around stabilizing force on the floor. Rhodes also shines in the classroom, where she carries a 3.74 GPA in middle school education. Now that is a well-balanced student athlete. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sportspage rolls to a close after this timeout.
I choose to finish what I start.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose red to make my family proud.
I choose red because I can take classes that work around my schedule.
I choose red to advance my career.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree, advance your career, and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
The big thing with the KMOS Ready to Learn program isn't just, come watch our shows, but then they want you to turn it off and read a book. My source for quality children's education is KMOS TV.
Hi, I'm Ken Burns. My films explore uniquely American stories about the extraordinary people and times that make up our history. I can't imagine telling my stories anywhere but on PBS, the one place that invites all Americans from every walk of life to discover new places, new ideas, and the bigger world around us. And I'm grateful for the role you play. Supporting your local station ensures that together we can continue to share these stories. Thank you.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sportspage. Before we put the finishing touches on this week's show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. The Mules football team will travel to Jefferson City Saturday to take on the Lincoln Blue Tigers. Kickoff is set for 2 o'clock at Dwight T. Reed Stadium. We'll have the broadcast for you on 1450 AM, 98.5 FM, and WarrensburgRadio.com beginning at 1240. We'll join you at kickoff on 90.9 FM. In other MIAA games this week, Fort Hays State is at 12th-ranked Washburn. Truman is at Emporia State. 4th-ranked Northwest Missouri is at Missouri Southern, and Missouri Western will be at SBU. The 8th-ranked Jennies volleyball team will host Missouri Southern Friday night at 7 p.m. Next Wednesday, the Gens will host Truman State in a 7 p.m. match. The 10th-ranked Jennies soccer team will face Southwest Baptist at 3 p.m. on Thursday. Check ucmo.edu/athletics for results of that match. On Saturday, the Gens will be in Kirksville to battle Truman State. That 1 p.m. match will be for the MIAA regular season title. So best of luck to Coach Theobald and the Gens as they aim for their 4th consecutive title in the last 5 seasons. The 4th-ranked Jennies bowling team will host the Greater Ozarks Invitational this weekend down in Springfield. And the Mules basketball team will open the exhibition portion of their season next Thursday night in Clarksville, Tennessee, as they take on the pick to win the Division I Ohio Valley Conference, the Governors of Austin Peay. Tip-off will be at 7. You can catch the game on 1450 AM, 98.5 FM, 90.9 FM, and WarrensburgRadio.com. And it's time now for our weekly Sports Page trivia question. Each week, we give you a chance to win a prize from UCM Athletics. And last week, we asked you who is the winningest coach in Mules basketball history. The correct answer is Kim Anderson, the Mules' current head coach, 203 wins to his credit, entering his 10th season as the bench boss here at UCM. Justin emailed us first, so he wins a UCM Athletics t-shirt. This week, our question is, what is the Jennies volleyball team ranked this week in the top 25? If you know the answer, you want a chance to win a prize, send it to the address on your screen or email it to sportspage@kmos.org. And with that, we conclude yet another edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show. We invite you to tune in again next Thursday night at 7 and Saturday evening at 5 to keep up with the UCM Mules and Jennies. Also watch the show on our website, ucmo.edu/athletics, and you can follow us on Twitter at UCM Mules. Until next time, for our entire crew, this is Shawn Jones saying thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS TV, the University of Central Missouri's PBS station.
Support for Sports Page is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus, on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.